House here. I represent AAMBC and Black Writers Weekend here in Atlanta, Georgia. And Warren, I wanted to kind of piggyback just off of that, just admiring the world that you guys created in the Handmaid's Tale. I've been watching from the very first season. I'm seeing the storylines evolve. Those first couple seasons, there were so many gruesome and sometimes uncomfortable scenes that we had to witness. But one thing that has stayed consistent is the strength and the bond between the women.
Yes.
They're having to endure so much, but they're also carrying, the weight of the world on their shoulders. They still have this hope. We see even June lead children to freedom. And I'm seeing how even when it's time for these women to, I guess, stand up or unite, they all have this inner strength that they kind of reach down into. And I kind of apply that to even nowadays or in real life, how as Black women, Amanda and Samara, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term of the strong Black woman, and we're always meant to be strong and we can carry it all. And sometimes we kind of fight against that, but I'm seeing that that actually works for these women in this show, is pulling on that inner strength and not really giving up. And it really is our mental strength that's helping us push through that. I want to know, as far as Amanda and Samara, the moment in the show where you felt was transitional for you, where it was a little bit overwhelming, where you saw what these women would have to endure and get through that. What was that moment? What was that scene? And why do you think it took you there?
Even just listening to you made me emotional. Sorry, of thinking about the scene. When we escape and we're running through the forest, it's beautiful. It's beautifully shot. However, we had to do that in real life. We had to be in the woods at 4 a.m. with 80 children, and I kept thinking about the women that would run from all around the world with their children, banding together, trying to race with their children to freedom, or sacrificing themselves and then throwing their children in a boat and sending their children to God knows what, not knowing if their children were going to make it to freedom or die. And it was before doing the show, I realized how close it is to the real world, but it always felt like acting. It was the first time where I completely felt what it would feel like to have to flee for your life with your child.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it with only women, and realizing that I would
Yeah.
only want to make a journey like that with women, because I think they're the only beings that would be able to survive that and push forward because of a maternal instinct, because of the willingness to fight to the death
Yeah.
for freedom and your child. Sorry, it's making me emotional. And so it was the largest transition I've had at the workplace, because it impacted me so much that I used that moment at 4 a.m. looking around at all of these actors, and I still use it to draw on scenes in Handmaid's Tale now. It gave me such insight into experiences beyond what I know. And then I felt guilty, because I thought, I don't know if I will ever know this. I was, just because of geography, I happen to be born in a nation where I am free. I will never know this. And it made me feel guilty, but then it made me feel like I had to do whatever I could to pay homage to women who've had to do this.
Wow, that's really, I never heard that story, Amanda. That's
It was crazy,
anyways,
Sarah. It was
yeah.
crazy.
When I think about Moira, I go back to season one. I think so much of who Moira is, I always hear her referred to as like she's such a badass, and I feel like every single scene that Moira does reflects what you're talking about, Tamika. She's just like such like that like strong Black woman character. And so when I think that that's like mostly what I see of her, and I think about every single thing that we can be as Black women, I start to think about actually a scene that may not really be seen as typical strong Black woman, but I still do think that there's strength in it. It's, I believe, the season finale of season 1, where Moira has done everything that she can to get out of Gilead, and she's successful. She's gone into Canada. She's shell shocked, and it's the very last scene when she's walking out of the refugee center, and she walks up to Luke, and she sees Luke, and the courage that it takes to let down your guard and to show the world that I am human just the way you are. And that is sometimes arresting for us to Black women, to show that, yes, I am the same as you. I have every single emotion that you go through. I have that as well. That can be arresting, and that can be, put people off guard sometimes, to show people that we are the same. So to put down Moira's guard and to flood my face with tears because I had made it, that I will always remember that scene. And I think that showed a different kind of strength.
Amazing stories, ladies. Thank you.